You led one of our roundtables on targeting today at the IR Magazine think tank. Can you sum up some of the key findings, the experiences that IROs have been talking about?
Yeah. Well, maybe to start with, there's no silver bullet. We have had discussions around the table with different companies in terms of size, activity, geography, retail shareholders versus institutional shareholders. But one thing we found, which was common across all companies, is it's not just about doing your homework and looking at the data, it's also about having the relationship. So do you know your investors? Do you know what they invest in, what they look at, what they focus at? When they change jobs, when they change to another investor, you might want to follow them. Or another example, if something happens in the market, interest rates drop, there's an acquisition in the space you're active in, find a reason to call the investors. Take the mindset of a broker, basically, and find out when the investor expects a call from you or would like to have some color on what's going on in your industry.
To what extent did Mifid II come up in the conversations today?
Surprisingly, not that much. We've talked about the role of brokers within corporate access versus doing it yourself, but that was a very limited topic, despite the fact that it's very disruptive, I believe, for the space.
And so what tips would you offer to IROs looking to improve their targeting techniques? And for example, to what extent do you think technology is beneficial? There's a lot of new technologies coming out in this area. What are your thoughts on those?
Yeah. A lot is changing. You mentioned Mifid II and technology. Those are two key ones. So have an open mind and try something new. At our company, we've tried a webinar last year, which was a very cheap way, 6K event to organize. No travel, very easy for investors and analysts to access. Very much appreciated by the investment community. We're also using a tool where we can basically run or manage the slides that someone else sees on a distant location. So it's much easier to do a phone call with an investor at the other end of the globe if you can share a presentation while discussing it. So try something new, and I do think technology does play a role, but in the end, trust is a very important element in the investment industry, so there will continue to be room for physical meetings and maybe conference calls. And technology will also play a role, but it's adjacent or it's in parallel to existing ways of communication.
And then finally, events like tonight, the IR Magazine Awards, what do you think is the importance of celebrating investor relations in this way?
It's a great profession to start with, which I really enjoy. It's good to hear practices from across the industry and from other participants. You always walk away with a couple of new ideas, so it's great for business and it's also great for personal relationship. There's a lot of fun people in investor relations.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.